My name is Javier Munoz, and this is the What Brings You Here podcast, where we spotlight remarkable people changing the world one epic project at a time. And today we're thrilled to have Izabella Buassa. She is the founder and creator of Visual English, an application that's helping children speak English with confidence. Now, as we did in the previous episode, we want to spotlight a person that has gone through the Shipped event that was organized by Lovable. So, Isabella was one of the participants that came together along with many other indie hackers and early founders from all walks of life to bring an idea and turn it into an actual product. And for those of you that don't know, uh, Lovable is an AI application that allows you to use text instructions and turn them into fully functional web applications. So this is really amazing because in the case of Isabella, she was able to turn an idea that she had been waiting for a long time to create and turn into an application and do it in 6 weeks. And she was able to get all the way to the top three product or application in the global ranking of the Shift event. And that was really amazing. And you will see why. Now, if you are inspired and you are thinking, oh my God, I also have an idea. I also have this passion for a subject. I also have something that I've been working for many, many years. And I don't know how to make it into an application. Well, I have an answer for you. Why don't you register in our next edition of Just Action coming up in October, where we will focus on how to turn that purpose within you, that fire, that passion that you have, that idea, into a fully shaped, profitable product. And so we're going to be focusing on all the tools that are available in GenAI. And very specifically, we want to talk about Lovable, which is really enabling people like Isabella to really turn these ideas that were somewhere, locked inside and that now have seen the light. And now, they are leaving her classroom where she used to use this method. And now it's possible for other teachers around the world to use the same technology, the same methodologies, and help their children become proficient at having English conversations with confidence. And so it's so exciting, right? Anyways, the link is below, as everyone says. I hope you come, and you're always, of course, welcome to be part of our program starting in October. And so the link is below. Now we turn to Isabella's story. Hello, hello, Isabella. How you doing? Welcome to the What Brings You Here podcast. Thank you so much for making the time. It's an honor to have you, and I am so curious about your journey and what brought you to this place in which you are.
Well, it's a crazy journey. The reason why I started building my platform is was actually more of necessity because I had hired a company to do for me the platform because we had an EU funding project, and this company actually kind of we paid them and they disappeared. So we're still trying to fight it in court and everything, but unfortunately, the product was not delivered. And the product needed to be produced. So it was out of necessity. I had no choice. I was looking for different types of people to do the project for me, and the costs were crazy. The costs were so much, and
What are we
I
talking about? What
like
cost?
over like we're talking about 100,000 euro, 80,000 euro just to do this platform. And uh right now we were completing the project because we were finishing with the school renovations as well as the platform, and I just realized that this would be impossible to realize to finish this platform with this kind of costs, especially that we had already paid the previous company. So we were like in limbo for 1.5 years, like we didn't know what to do. And I saw on TikTok Replit. First, I started with Replit, but for 3 or 4 months, I was stuck
And can you
in Replit.
can you explain what is Replit?
Replit is something like Lovable. It's
Hmm.
very similar, like Lovable. It's almost the same thing, only that I think Lovable is more like it did build me a kind of frame of the platform. The problem was I was trying to connect my 20,000 plus questions to the slides. And for 3 months, I was trying to figure this out, and I could not. I was like, we were stuck, and I didn't know what to do. And every prompt, I was just spending money on prompt after prompt. I just couldn't sync the images to the questions. So it was a very big problem. And I was scrolling through TikTok, and actually, someone commented about this Lovable Shift program in June. I think it was the beginning of June. And I'm like, let me try this Lovable. And within 1 week, I managed to do something which I was not able to do in 3 or 4 months on Replit. So it was, I was like so amazed. I was like, oh my God, it went through. I connected my images and my questions. I was like dancing in the living room. I was like, oh my God, I managed to do this.
So
So,
tell me about that first moment where you put your large prompt, which I suppose is a very big prompt with all the description of the application, as if you
mm-hmm,
were talking to a programmer, right?
mm-hmm.
And you're explaining the programmer what to do. You put it in this very simple box, just like any chat box, right? And what happened, after you do that in Lovable, which is this vibe coding, right? A vibe coding
It's
platform.
fine coding. Yes, yes.
So what happened at that moment? Were you like excited? Were you like, oh, let me just see what is gonna happen? Or
I
were you
thought
surprised?
I would climb any mountain. I can't even explain to you. I, 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 I can't even explain to you the feeling. If someone is telling you that if you want your platform, you need to pay 100,000 euro, and then I'm able to do this by myself. It's like I can't explain you the feeling. It's if I can do this, I can do anything. Like it's that kind of feeling. It's I can't explain it. It's and by the way, another thing also that really helped me was in the Lovable, we have this circle group, in the Lovable circle group. And I had an issue how to connect the questions to each slide. And I actually asked the question on the circle community, guys, do you know how to do this? I have this problem. And someone told me about Superbase, which is like a way you store your all your data and everything, which I had no idea it existed. And also that helped me. Someone who recommend a community, someone who doesn't know me told me, you know what? If you have questions, put your questions on CSV files on Superbase, and then link it to your file. And I was like, oh my God. So it wasn't even only Lovable that changed it, but the Lovable Circle community that suggested this to me. So this is $1 million advice, because if before a few years ago, if you have all these programmers, you would not. No one would tell you how to do it. No one would give you advice. Everything was all kept secret because everyone is trying to make money out of this.
Right. And there
So
is another point that probably you would recognize. If you pay a programmer and everything goes well, they ship the product and everything, every time you want to make a change, you still have to go to them because you don't have
yeah,
control, right? You don't have control over it. Now, on top of being liberated by the fact that you can do it yourself, you have control over any feature that you want to upgrade.
Exactly. You are not dependent on anybody. I'm a very, I learn very quickly. And when it comes to graphics and design, I'm a self-taught. I'm self-taught. Adobe Photoshop. You'd laugh at me. Do you know that I still use Adobe Shop Photo 7, the oldest, one of the oldest versions, and it works for me perfectly. I self-taught myself a few years ago, and I'm self-taught. So once I get to know how to do something, I make sure I watch all the YouTube tutorials and everything. So I know exactly, once I learn something, I have it, it's in me, yes.
Mhm.
So this Lovable, even if it's about experimenting, it's about you learning, it's a journey. So once you get the knack of it, I like I said, 3 or 4 days ago, I finished the Lovable, my visual English platform. It's finished. Just I need to like clean some small things in the platform. But my school is in September is coming up, and I just came up with my own school management system program, something which I used to pay 200, 150 euro plus taxes. I used to pay this company which would have all this registration of the students, signing up, sending contracts to the students, everything. In 3 days, I managed to complete the full school management system where my student logs in, signs up, automatically assigns the groups to my students, automatically sends contracts to the students, links my students to my visual English platform. Everything is automatically done with Lovable.
You
You
know,
know,
one thing that I wanted to really highlight from what you're saying, one thing is to be able to save money, yes, because now you don't have to pay 150 euros per month. Um, you also have control over the platform. You know exactly the features that you want, but on top of it, it becomes not only cost saving, but it is also an asset, a personal asset, because you know what you want for that platform. You have already the know-how, so you are translating that know-how into a technical asset. Who owns the technical asset? You do.
you, yeah,
Now you could choose to sell it even if you want it, even if you
and
want it.
yes, 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 exactly.
Mhm.
So and you know the thing is, when this Lovable Ship program came up, there were futures which I hadn't even thought of. In the beginning, I was like, I have my books. I need to put all these questions which I've collected within 5, 6 years, all this data. I need to put it in some presentable way, and then ideas started coming up. Oh, Vizzy, my Vizzy mascot. Oh, I need to have a vocabulary game hub. Oh, I have to, and everything started accumulating, and now I have a full fledged learning language platform, which I hadn't even planned from 6 weeks ago. So ideas come, and you keep on attaching those ideas, and the thing grows and grows and becomes bigger and bigger.
So tell me,
So,
tell me about your experience with Lovable Shipped, with the actual event, because
mhm.
you told me that you went there, you decided to sign up, but all the projects were going to be evaluated to see which projects would be then picked for the actual event. And so, take me a little bit through that experience of,
so I
signing
chose.
up and getting the
So
okay.
when I saw this Lovable Ship on TikTok, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even think I'd be top three. No, that was not none of my intention. It was not what I was planning. But I started the first week, and let me be honest, and I'll say to you that if I hadn't joined the Lovable Ship, because every week you have assignments to complete, and then after you complete these assignments, people like assess your platform every week. So you're forced to complete what you have to do. So I had deadlines. I had to do it. If I don't do it, then the person who enters and assesses my page will not give me good marks. So I was kind of forced to complete my platform. And I'm very glad I joined this program. It's not even about the winning, it's not about the theory, because now I have a ready made product because of this weekly deadlines they were setting. They were telling us, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, your program has to be this, you need to launch your product on week 5, you need to do pitch videos, you need to do all this whole the whole it was teaching you how to launch your product into the market. I never thought that in week 1 I would be having a pitch video. I never thought that I would be having a demo. I never All this is preparing you on how to market your product. So I'm very glad. Even I think if someone is very disappointed they didn't make it to the top 10 or they didn't win, I think it's you must really appreciate the fact that you are able to already have a ready-made product within 6 weeks. 6 weeks you have a ready-made product.
That's
If I had
amazing.
if I hadn't joined Lovable Ship, most probably I'd be still like ah I'll
Right.
do it. I'll do it. And now this kind of pushed me and motivated me to finish this project. So I'm very glad I joined. The community was amazing. If you had a problem, you just write in the community, and everyone would give you advice.
But
And you get
tell me a little bit because I think you're a little bit ahead. You had
mhm,
to
mhm.
enter ship, then you were picked as a project,
Yeah.
right?
So you enter the first of all you had to do a video. I think it is a presentation video of yourself and why you want to join the Lovable Ship program, and they accept you, and then they tell you that then they explain to you the whole procedure that you have weekly assignments to do, and then you have to have a ready launched product by week 6. So that was just basically it, yeah. So the first week it was very funny because if you saw my platform on week 1 and how it looked like in week 1, on the first week, and the last week is two completely different products, different graphics, different, like for example the first week I had this orange image, and people were commenting, the people who are analyzing my website, the one who are assessing the website. Oh, you need to change this photo, it's too orange, you need to change this, your layout, you have mistakes in your content viewer. So were able to point out mistakes which I never even thought it was a mistake. So all these weekly assessments, like it shows you mistakes which you should correct, which you should improve. So slowly by slowly, week after week, I just ended up improving my product, all according to all the information I got in the weekly assessments, which people were evaluating the platform. Yeah.
That's
So
great. And now, you it was the big day. I remember chatting with you on Wednesday
I was so
for the
nervous.
pitch. How was that?
Oh my God. I think I first of all, I have an iPad. Yeah, I have a very old computer, so I'm very scared of using my old computer. So I was like, let me use the iPad because the iPad is like guaranteed that I will not have problems with my connection. And I panicked because I had I had written to Brenton before. I told Brenton I have a problem. I have an iPad and I will not be able to control my slides. He's like, oh, okay, okay. I think he automatically assumed I have an iMac, which I don't. So when I told him that I don't have a keyboard, he's like, "Oh." That was 1 minute before the the interview happened. He's like, "Oh, Isabella, I think that's gonna be a problem." So I realized my slides are not gonna work. So I was like, "Oh my god!" So panic mode. I was like panicking, and then the interview started. So I
Oh,
just said, "Oh my God, my slides are not work." I just said, "Okay, my slides are not going to work. I'm just going to do my pitch the way I plan to do it, but without the slides." And personally, I would have preferred if there were no slides. I would have loved that the investors would have had a face-to-face connection with each person, not with the slides and all the. I think it would have been really nice if the investors would have had a one-to-one talk with the, because 2 minutes is, I think, it's too little time for you to present your product, to show what it's about. 2 minutes it's quite limited time. So I think here was a matter of interaction with the investors. So I said, maybe if I just speak and do it and get it over and done, it will be it will happen. Yeah. So it was a lot of emotions and a lot of panic, but I ended up doing the presentations without the slide. Um, Lots of nerves. I never thought that I would be pitching live in front of investors. If you had told this to me 6 weeks ago, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have.
Mm.
So it and it's really encouraged me because I'm signing up to every startup competition there is. Every startup competition, any opportunity that I'm able to show my platform, in any ed tech convention. Even I think there's something happening in Portugal with Web Summit.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get my product out there. I have already product now, so I'm able to do that. I wouldn't have done that if the platform wasn't complete. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Let me
it's all.
ask you. Let, let me ask you about visual English.
Mhm.
What is the pain that you're trying to solve?
So I'm based in Poland, and I've been teaching over 25 years for a very long time. And in Poland, I don't know how it is in Spain, but in Poland, when the kids go and learn English in school, everything is grammar, lots of grammar, present simple, present perfect. They have lots of grammar, and the teacher gives them like 50 word lists that they have to memorize. And the parents come to, because my school is after curricular activities, so after school the students come to my school to learn extra English. Yes. So most of the students come to the school because they either want to learn English. Why? To pass their tests, to have very good marks in school. So they come and do tests and tests and tests, which does not help the student. Or they have to memorize the words they have learned in school. But when it comes to conversation, it's so bad because they would learn this 50 word vocabulary list, but when they're like, "Hi, so what are you doing tomorrow?" they would not be able to answer simple questions. So my when I opened the school, my aim was to make my students speak. So I had been using Callan method. I don't know if you know of this method. There are different methods of learning English. There's Callan, Berlitz, Avalon method. There are different types of method. I specialize in the Callan method, and Callan was amazing. It is an amazing for adults, but it's not an amazing product for kids because kids. The problem started when we had COVID,
Mm.
and everything for 2 years was online. All the lessons were moved online, and the kids were very bored. So I was like, I need to do something else. So all my images, I had to collect them. This is not something that I just AI generated immediately. All these images, all these 20,000 base questions is something which I did it within 5 years. So all the questions are personally chosen. It's not AI chosen. And the pictures are funny, the pictures are amusing, they can connect to the pictures, and then you use these questions to help the students speak.
I
So
see.
that was my aim. Is not about grammar is not important. The most important is conversation, to get your message across. That
Right.
was my aim. Yeah. I don't know
That's
how
it.
it in school in Spain. Are they more grammar oriented
No,
or?
I think in general, if you think about learning a language, the one thing that trails always is the conversation.
Mhm,
Yes, especially when you're learning online, because you don't have anyone to talk to. And so I understand your perspective. I see that in your case, you're looking at a happy middle. That's my interpretation. You're looking at this happy middle between a full analog in-person experience that is personalized, which would be one of the extremes, and the other extreme would be an AI centric voice, dialogue that is what Duolingo is doing,
It-
which is in the other
Duolingo
stream.
Duolingo is really good, but it's more individual. Like you're not gonna have a classroom-oriented class with Duolingo. Duolingo is great. Have no. I had a conversation with my sister. Her boyfriend is learning Swahili on Duolingo, and Duolingo is like the mango is green or something like this. But that sentence is not a practical sentence for everyday languages. So Duolingo has its limits. It teaches you lots of words, of course, but when it comes to conversation, why do you need to know that the mango is green? Like you need to have practical conversation, and that is what is missing. Yes.
Hmm.
And I've gone through hundreds of apps, and there's that element of conversation. Not, I'm not talking about what's your name, what class are you in, but basic conversation with a child. That's also very important. Like, so that the child is motivated to speak, because
Yeah.
children get bored very quickly.
Yeah, to,
Children,
to, to really connect with the storytelling, right?
yes,
And to
yes,
be able
yes,
to comment on the stories that you provide. And one thing that I wanted to point out, right, is that yes, you were able to create this in 6 weeks, but there were 5 years behind. Yes.
yeah. Five. It's not. It's 6 weeks for the platform, but all these questions, all this images, all this, it was not something that was created in 6 weeks. This is 5 sleepless nights.
Yes. Yes.
Remember, I have 178 units. That means I have 10 books with 178 units. Each unit has over 300 questions.
Yeah, of course, that didn't happen just like this. But the
Yes,
point, the point that we're making is all of this was intellectual property that you had created that
yes,
was locked in somehow in a computer, in folders, and that
yes,
that you were using personally for your classes. But now suddenly, through this platform that was possible using Lovable and through the shipped event, now suddenly you have a platform where other professors can use this technique and can make use of these 5 years of creation that
yes.
that are
That,
behind.
yeah. As an ESL teacher, uh, I always had problems finding the perfect lesson. I need to
Mm,
go one website. You have to go from one website to another, and now everything is in one place. And I wish I had this tool when I was teaching before, and I would not have so many wasted hours trying to prep the perfect lesson. Everything is in one place. All the YouTube videos are in one place. All the questionnaires, game, everything is in one place, which makes everything so convenient and time saving. But like you said, I joined the Lovable, focused on teacher to focus on the teacher and have make teachers have ready made material. And now I've kind of diverged, and I'm like, oh my god, now I can have an AI powered application where you have Vizi as a virtual teacher, and I don't need to just concentrate on the teacher market. And now I can concentrate on the students, and they can relate to this Vizi app, to this Vizi, my mascot, and talk to using the same format I'm using for the teachers, but put it in an app and have a kind of interaction with the students using the same material I have. This was a project I hadn't thought about 6 weeks before. And now when I'm
incredible.
so now I have another app where I'm now going to start building it, where you have AI. I don't know if you know this website. It's called Tolans, and it's an AI virtual friend. Graphics are amazing, and you have an AI virtual friend who you can talk to, and it's an amazing app, a beautiful app. The graphics are amazing, and now I want to have something similar, but for language learning, where a person can talk and touch and look at this picture. What do you think of this picture? Where is this? What is it doing? And you're interacting using the images you have there.
Right. That
Yeah.
sounds really, really cool. So
Yes.
tell me now that you're telling me about this future application, what is that you need now? Well, let me get started with just the first thing that's going to happen around the corner, right? You have this trip to Sweden to meet the Lovable team and the rest of the participants. What's going to happen there? What is that you're looking to achieve?
I think I think for most of us is seeing how you're able to open and spread your wings. So I think looking for investors, that's the key. Yeah? Um, the the AI the AI aspect is very easy to connect with my app, but my biggest issue here will be the design and the graphics, and that needs a lot of money because you need to have graphic designers. I can do it by myself, but you also, it's impossible to do everything yourself. So right now, investors, that's the main name. I think most of the people who are going to Sweden are not just going there for fun. All of them are trying to see how they're going to sell their product, their platform, their app, and that's the main aim, yes. And also for people to see you, to make sure that you're visible. And I think most big apps, most of them have a very strong backup, investment backup, so they're able to market themselves and get the word out there and put themselves out there so everybody knows that such a platform exists. I'm very small. I just started, and visibility is key. I think once people know your app exists and people start using it, that's when everything starts now gaining momentum. So me going to Sweden, it's even good for me because I can post it and show people that I'm in Lovable. I do not know who I'm going to meet in Sweden. I have no idea, but I hope that it will open other doors. Since Mahmoud won, he got the money, and I'm very glad and happy that he did. But it's not about the money; it's about visibility and putting your product out there so people know that it exists. That's the key here, yeah. Because you can finish any platform,
Yes.
but you need to get your product out there. It's just a step, it's the beginning. You have an idea, you complete your idea, you finish it, you put it in the platform, and now you have the most difficult step. That's marketing and selling your product. That's another different journey. And I really love working with my husband because I'm the brains behind it, and he's the marketing. He's the one who does he's the people person. I'm also a people person, but he's a more business people person. He's the one who likes, and that's very key. And like you said, like some people don't have that support system. I'm very glad I do because my husband is the one who will go and disturb the person, call the person, ring the person, and remember that once you have a product, remember you also have to sell your product. And that's, I think, a more difficult journey than creating the platform. That's in my opinion.
Yes,
That's what I.
I think one of the key things that makes it possibly a bit easier now is that the idea doesn't have to live in your head. You can easily prototype something, show it, see whether it has traction,
Mm-hmm,
uh, iterate until it does, and then after that you can show that there is some level of momentum, not only a product, or an idea or a concept in a PowerPoint, but an actual prototype. that didn't cost you thousands, but that you were able to create fast and put out there to see what people thought of it, as you said. So now that when you go to an investor, you are ahead of the game because I mean, you already have, let's say, experience in the normal traditional sense, meaning without the app, you already know your business, right? So that is already credibility for you. Then you created the application, then you created some momentum, and you're still, you're not in debt in the sense that you didn't invest thousands and thousands with no revenue, right?
Exactly.
So now you are able to come clean, let's say, from a fresh start, and show the momentum, the application, and all the IP that you hold, and make this a very interesting proposition for people to consider supporting you. This is a very different conversation than what investors used to have before with founders, because prototypes, not every, were not necessarily there. You If you did have a prototype, you were already in debt. You were already
Because your own money.
struggling.
And you're struggling and you have to put your own money. But now I think the investors now are now they just have to see whether it's the idea is worthwhile. If they want now, everything has to be ready, and it also ups the game. Like it makes
Yeah.
it more difficult for you can have a good idea, but yeah, but let me see the idea, and I
Yeah.
need to see it in practice. And now people who are producing now have to also up their game in what product they're going to be presenting to investors. So I'm very grateful that I'm able to have a ready made product, and I'm able to present it. I'm very how do you say, I'm very confident, and I'm very sure that my product is the way it should be. I've of course it needs some small cleaning here and there. Now it's a matter of now finding the right investor who would be interested in your product. Yes.
Hmm.
And that's why, like I said before, I'm not afraid. Now I yesterday I signed up to a competition, Afritech, and it's an because like my product is also very you can use it in many countries which you have English as a second language. So it can be Asia, Eastern Europe, it can be Europe, in Spain, Italy, all these countries. It can be in Africa with the francophone and the lusophone countries, yeah, with the Portuguese and French speaking countries. So
Hmm.
I signed up yesterday to a competition, an Afritech competition, and I'm waiting for the reply. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't have a ready-made product.
Of
So
course.
this lovable shift showed me the way, the open door. It's not about winning the product. It's not winning the competition, but it's showing you, guys, if you have a product, make sure it's ready, make sure it's presentable, make sure you need to have a pitch, you need to have a demo, a product demo, you need
Mhm.
to have a pitch deck. All this I was not aware of. I just
Right.
thought I should just build a platform and it's finished, and yeah, that's it.
That's it.
It's
Yeah.
you need to have this ready, this ready, this ready for you to present your stuff to investors. So, as someone who's not experienced in this whole AI game and all this stuff, so I still have a lot to learn. It's a journey. It's a journey. Um, and I think anyone can start. It doesn't matter what age you are. It really doesn't matter. You can be 9 years old. You can be 55 years old. But it's you can always start it and learn. Learning, you can learn until you're 110 years old. Learning
Of
never
course.
stops. Yeah.
Let
So
me let me just ask you a question. As you know, this podcast is going to be heard by every community member in the Just Action community. Yes. So it's a matter of producing inspirational messages, right? For people that are maybe a step behind and thinking of ways of creating this wonderful value that you're creating. What would be a statement, something you would tell them to encourage them to take the step?
I definitely tell them that if you have an idea, don't let it marinate in the jar in the fridge. Open that jar, take that pickle from the jar, put it on the bread and eat it. Because if you keep on looking at it, I'll do it tomorrow. Ah, maybe not. Maybe you just need to do it and make sure that you finish that sandwich till the full, like you finish it. You not that you eat the sandwich and leave it halfway. You have to start, be consistent, and finish it. Because if you don't start, you'll be sitting and wondering, oh, I don't have a platform. What should I do? I have to. You keep on. You'll be in this kind of brain, like you'll be imagining that what would have been instead of what could be. So if you have an idea, it doesn't even have to be a platform, an AI thing. It's everything. I started my school. I had in 2010. I was working for a school, and I said, no, I'm not going to be working. I'm going to open my school. Do you know how I started my school?
How?
I went to the primary school because I live 50 kilometers from Krakow, and I went to the director and I asked the director, could could she rent a classroom after school, and I would be teaching. And I started with 3 students, and slowly by slowly it started. If I hadn't gone to the director and asked her if she could rent the room, then I wouldn't have had an English school today.
You
It's
know what
all
I
about.
call that? I call that move in Just Action in our language, let's say, I call it the Queen's move.
The
Yes,
quick. So
the
that's a good
Queen's move. Yeah, because you know the Queen is one of the most powerful pieces in
one.
chess. And when you make that move, it's to topple the king, right? To topple the king, and in our parlance, the king is the resistance, is what's keeping you from moving forward. And that's what you did, right? To take that step. And it's always fantastic to really go and dig deep into that moment where you decided to pick up the phone or go to this person. What was that energy when you decided to
I
do
was.
this?
I remember. I remember. I was in the school. It's in Brzeznica. It's a little village, and I have goosebumps thinking about it. So I went and I made an appointment, and I sat outside that office. I was like, oh my god, what if she says no? I was thinking of like running away. So she's like, please come to the office. And I said, hi, I'm an English teacher and I would like to have lessons in your school, like after school lessons. And she's like, oh, that's an amazing idea. I've been looking for someone like you. You just came at the right time. I was like so amazed. And within 1 year, I started with 3 students. And then the second year, I had, I think, around 25 students. And the second year and the third year. And then I was like, no, I need to have a school. I can't just be renting the classrooms. And then I ended up having an office in Zator. And this office transformed into something bigger. And now we have in the market square that was school. So, and also you need to be very patient. That's also very important. Because, of course, making the Queen's move is very important, but you can't expect results immediately. You
Mm,
need to be very very patient. Rome was not built in a day, and you need to be very very patient. You can't expect that you're going to have $1 million in your account within 1 year. It doesn't work like that. Patience is
mm.
key, consistency is key, and being very brave. Getting like, don't be afraid. So there are lots of, when it comes to business, and that just doesn't mean like I'm talking about, like I said, AI building and everything. It means like even having a business, you need to be consistent, you need to be very patient, and you need to make that Queen's move. That's
Yeah.
very key. And
You know,
then
in this point that you're making about patience, one thing that we say is that we have to honor every step, even if it is a tiny one, because sometimes we discard or don't appreciate the small steps because they don't generate apparently nothing, and so we undermine the value that they have, and we say, well, what did I do today? I didn't do anything. No, that's not true. Really review the way in which you got to where you are, and it's always a collection of many, many, many small steps, hopefully
Right.
aligned. But we do have to honor those steps, not only the queen's move, but every one of the other steps before.
Yes, yes, yes. It's all a process. It's all a process which needs, and everything has to come into place. Like I said, everything comes to place in the end, and everything, and the journey doesn't stop. It keeps changing and everything. Um, when I go to my school, I feel so proud. I see my classroom. I see the reception desk. I see everything. I'm like, okay, but you get there and you're like, it's still not it. This is not what I still want. I still want people to use my platform. I want to expand. I want to make it bigger. So
Yeah.
the journey, it depends on what personal satisfaction the person has.
Yes.
For me, I have this school. I'm very grateful. Thank you for having this school. I'm very grateful about that, and I'm happy about it. But it's still not, for me. It's still not it,
Yes.
and I'm still trying to make sure that I'm able to help kids speak, and not only in Poland but everywhere. That I'll be so happy if someone I would see a teacher using my product in Angola. I would be so happy. That would just
it's
make
it's it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I mean,
and
it's gonna happen within this year. So you will see.
fingers
um
crossed.
oh, it's I see what you mean. The fire within you um has wings. It's what we call, yeah, we say that uh that ideal that is within you has wings, to fly, to fly far far. And
And I also tell my
mm,
sister, like, we're running a marathon, yeah.
yeah,
I told my sister Magda, it's like you're running a marathon, and you see the end of the end point of the marathon, and you're like running, and you think that marathon is gonna finish, and and then the ending keeps on moving. It keeps on moving, and you're like, oh my god. And I told my sister, when that company scammed us, that's the word I want to say,
yeah.
I was really down. I'm telling you, I was so down. I was like, this doesn't make sense, and I don't think this platform will ever. I almost gave up. To be honest, I needed a lot of support. I was like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. Maybe this platform was not meant to be. And AI just came up this year, and the light came back on, and I'm like, it can be done. So
Wow, it's so powerful what you just said. It's so powerful because, look, I am very interested in general on how AI can elevate us. How can we augment ourselves? Because, of course, as you've heard, there is plenty of fear regarding AI and how AI could be used to replace a lot of people in our jobs. A lot of that will happen, but we should not pay attention to how AI could replace people in some jobs, but in how AI can augment us. The way you just explained, it became the light for me to express something that was within. So that's exactly what we're trying to do in Just Action, to provide a space where people can define what that is, and they can then use the tools to augment their chances of creating this. And I think this is what you are a great example of. And I wanted to thank you so much for coming to this podcast. Sadly, we have come to the end of the
okay,
recording. But it's going to be great. Your trip to Sweden. I would love to stay in touch and also
Okay, I'll keep you. I'll send some photos.
yes, yes, and keep me posted on how things are going. And
I
yeah,
hope it will open doors. I hope it will show me a backbone of how everything looks like in that lovable setup, because also this
yes,
is an opportunity not everyone is going to have. So you going to the lovable base, see how things are done. Maybe they will explain how things will be, how things can be done to improve your platform. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity. Like I said, I told you, I mentioned to you before that I'll be the only woman. I'm finding it a little bit like I will see how it's going to be. But
it's gonna be an advantage.
I think it's going to be an advantage. Yes, I think it's
There you go. Of course it is. It's going to be an advantage, a big one.
yeah, a big advantage. So I just hope my platform gets out there and people are able to use it as a tool to learn English, and not
Mhm.
only English. You know, in the future it can expand, but if if teachers are able to use this tool and the kids start speaking, my mission is complete. I'm good.
Abs- You're good. There you go. Okay, so thank you
Thank you
so
for
much.
having me. Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank
We'll,
you.
we'll be in touch, okay?
Okay then. Okay then. Bye.